The galactic combat arena fell silent as Blade Master Zirian entered the ring. 7 feet of perfectly engineered warrior, the Altarian had never lost a duel in 300 years. His plasma-edged sword, passed down through 40 generations of champions, hummed with deadly energy. Today's match would cement his legacy as the greatest swordsman in galactic history. Across from him, humanity's representative looked absurdly out of place. Maria Rodriguez stood 5'4" in standard gravity, wearing simple carbon weave armor that looked like it came from a discount military surplus store. The crowd murmured in confusion when she drew her weapon. It was a kitchen knife, 8 inches of stainless steel with a black polymer handle, the kind used in restaurants across Earth. Is this an insult? Zirian's voice boomed across the arena. His species took combat honor seriously, and showing up with kitchenware to a formal duel was unprecedented. Maria tested the knife's weight in her hand, completely calm. No insult intended. This is what I choose to fight with. The audience erupted in laughter. Betting odds shifted to 10,000 to 1 against the human. The Galactic Council representatives shook their heads in embarrassment for Earth's warrior. Ambassador Kepler from the Rigel Consortium leaned toward his human counterpart. Your species just forfeited any respect in the galactic community. Why send her with a cooking implement? Ambassador James Wilson smiled slightly. Watch. The ceremonial bell rang. Zirian moved like lightning, his plasma sword carving through the air in a pattern that had decapitated dozens of opponents. Maria didn't try to block it. She stepped inside his reach, too close for the long sword to be effective, and her knife found the gap in his armor at the armpit. First blood. First point. Zirian stumbled back, shocked. Golden blood dripped from the wound. Lucky strike. They reset. This time Zirian came in with a defensive stance, his sword weaving complex patterns. Maria threw her knife. The crowd gasped, throwing your only weapon was suicide. But as Zirian instinctively moved to deflect it, Maria had already rolled forward, caught the knife as it rebounded off his sword, and sliced across his thigh. Second point. Impossible, someone whispered in the stands. The third engagement lasted longer. Zirian had studied her movements now, kept his distance, used his sword's reach advantage. Maria seemed cornered against the arena's edge. Then she did something no one expected. She pulled out a second identical kitchen knife from her boot. 2 kitchen knives? Zirian snarled. This is mockery. Maria shrugged. I bought them as a set. They were on sale. The crowd didn't laugh this time. They watched in fascination as Maria wielded both simple blades with surgical precision. She didn't fight like the ceremonial sword masters they knew. She fought like someone who had learned to kill in tight spaces, in ship's corridors, in the cramped quarters where humans had fought their wars. Zirian's elaborate sword techniques, perfected in grand arenas, became a liability. Every flourish created an opening. Every spinning attack left him exposed for a fraction of a second. Maria didn't need a fraction. She needed a millisecond. The fourth point came when she trapped his plasma sword between her crossed knives. Something that should have melted the steel instantly. But the kitchen knives were from Earth, where humans had learned to forge metals in gravity wells that created molecular bonds other species couldn't replicate. The steel held just long enough for her to kick his knee and score across his neck. Ambassador Kepler's mouth hung open. Those are really just kitchen knives? From Maria's restaurant in Buenos Aires, Wilson confirmed. She was a chef before she was a soldier. Said she knew those knives better than any weapon. The fifth and final point was almost anticlimactic. Zirian, desperate and humiliated, abandoned all technique and charged with raw fury. Maria sidestepped, and with the practiced motion of someone who had filleted 1,000 fish, she placed her blade precisely where his spine met his skull. The touch was gentle, just enough to draw blood, not enough to kill. The arena's silence was deafening. Then, slowly, applause began. It spread through the crowd like wildfire. They had witnessed something unprecedented. The galaxy's greatest swordsman, defeated by kitchen cutlery. Zirian knelt in defeat. How? He asked simply. Maria helped him to his feet. You trained to fight other swordsmen. I trained to cut things efficiently. Your sword is a symbol of honor. My knife is a tool. Sometimes the tool wins. Later, xenoanthropologists would cite this moment as when the galaxy truly understood humans. They didn't just adapt their warriors to combat, they adapted combat to whatever they happened to be holding. The next day, kitchen knife sales spiked on every civilized world.